In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, dear friends, today we're going to have a kind of practice session of IELTS Speaking Part 3. You know about the nature of Part 3, it's the detailed discussion, and the students have to give a bit lengthier answers in their examination in front of the examiner, of course. So the same enactment is going on, and the same kind of a theme is in front of us, so that we may have a practice session of giving the lengthy answers in part 3 of the speaking module of IELTS. So the topic today is mobile phones. Let's get started. I'm going to ask one question from each candidate, and you'll have to give the answers. So my first question is from the first candidate: which one do you use more often, a mobile phone or a telephone, and why?
Well, if we talk about a decade or a 2 decades earlier, mobile phone wasn't that commonly used in our society. Landline or telephone was commonly used. Not me, even everybody used telephone. But at that time, telephone or landline was only used for the calling purpose. But now if we talk about the mobile phones not only used for the calling or SMS purpose, but it is also used for the educational system, online banking, and many other features we do have. Let us talk about the online banking. Now, by sitting at our home, we can have an online transaction from way across the countries. And if we talk about the online system for having educational purpose, so we all know we are going through a pandemic situation. In this COVID situation, online class was the most beneficial thing for every student or a teacher have.
Thank you very much indeed. The next student, please, the next presenter, or the next student would be the next candidate. The question is: are international phone calls expensive in your country?
Keeping in view about the past, the abroad calls and international calls were quite expensive as compared to the local phone calls. But with the advancement of technology and new era of advancement, phone calls are quite accessible to everyone. As we are talking about online networking, online chatting is quite accessible and easy for everyone as compared to the past local and calls for the expensive abroad calls. So talking about and comparing the international calls costly as compared to the past, now they are very much accessible and easy for everyone to chat or to talk anyone online.
Oh, thank you very much. The next presenter would be, or the next candidate is, the next question: what is the best way to keep in touch with friends abroad?
Well, through social networking website, online chatting, and through online video calls, we can keep in contact with our friends. And nowadays it is very easy to keep in touch with our friends who are in abroad. Through many websites, especially Facebook, has helped me a lot to keep in contact with our dear ones who live in abroad. And also with the advancement of technology, not only Facebook, now there are so many apps through which we can keep in touch with our friends, like Insta, Snapchat, and through Facebook also. With the advancement of technology, the way of communication with our relatives and friends who live far away from us has changed drastically.
Oh, that's right. Changed drastically. Good expression. The next is: what is the impact of the online-based chatting systems and social networking websites on the way we make friends and contact our friends?
The impact of technology on the way we communicate and make friends, both advanced and turn back, and we communicate our make friends and different websites. For instance, Facebook, they help me to few friends who my school friends decade later, and both websites using Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, both less than friends.
That's lovely. Which one do you prefer, SMS or voice call, and why?
Well,
I always prefer SMS, sending SMS and receiving because it's very beneficial. Voice call is not better. Sometimes we send interesting information and important information for someone, so it's very safe to sending a message.
Absolutely fine. That's great. Thank you. There are shortcomings in your answers, but no problem. This is a stage or a platform where you're going to refine yourself further in the future by being used to these kind of activities and practice sessions. The next question is how dangerous it is for someone to use his cell phone while driving a car.
I think it's so much hazard by using mobile phone during driving, because when we are in road, our life is at risk. We are responsible for saving our life, and those people who are in the road, we are responsible for their lives. So we shouldn't use mobile phone while driving, because Allah said if someone lost one life, he lost life of whole humanity. Because we should be careful about that. If we have some urgent call, we should stop. Stop somewhere, and after that, taking a telephone call.
Oh, thank you very much indeed for this suggestion. So a question from the next candidate is, which one do you use more often, a mobile phone or a telephone, and why?
Well, I mostly used a mobile phone because I can carry it with me all the time. The main reason to preference a mobile phone is absolutely mine. And most of their friends and relatives on their personal cell phones, and they prefer to call on a mobile phone as well. The mobile phone moreover offers SMS facilities, use internet and games, use full applications install, etc. I also used useful applications.
Thank you very much indeed. Don't say etc. It's called etc. Vagera vagera. Are international phone calls expensive in your country?
Yes, international phone calls are still more expensive in our country because 1 minute of international calling charged more than the local calls. Due to the higher rates of international calling, people these days prefer local calls like WhatsApp, Viber, WeChat, and so on.
They're also important. Students have been told about the basic rules and their usage, so they have to keep in touch with these things so that they may keep on improving themselves for the future recordings. So thank you very much. God bless you all, and I'm going to see you in the next video with some new topics on IELTS Speaking Part 3. Thank you.